Hello, everybody. My name's Hayden Michael, and I am fucking retarded. Now, I wanted to spend today's video on addressing a couple of YouTube comments that I've gotten, and then if we have some extra time, we'll just go through the rest. Now, number one, I'm gonna go with the oldest ones that I've got, and then up to the newest one. You're a pretentious, fearful little twerp! No, we're actually not going off of that one right now. I'm scrolling through them. There we go. So Vic had asked, isn't it all NLP? Now, okay. So he had asked this on the Debunking Manifestation and Law of Attraction Ideas video, where I kind of broke down for the main pillars that hold up most of the ideas of manifestation. Not all of them, but a good majority of the ones. If you just type in manifestation on YouTube and any of the bullshit that pops up, it applies. But he said, isn't it all NLP? Can't it actually be simply psychologically helpful and not spiritual at all? To the first question, isn't it all NLP? Mostly no. NLP is its own thing. There are people that kind of mix the two. Actually, yeah, there's some people like Philip H. Farber. He has a brain. I hope he has a fucking brain. He has a book called Brain Magic, and it's basically like evocation, banishing, and a lot of like ceremonial magic type of stuff, but without all the spiritual stuff. It's a lot of NLP, meta programming, and stuff like that. I don't really have a taste for it, I'm going to be honest, but depending on where you are in your progress, I'm going to give you kind of like the things that were kind of helping me at the moment. And so there's a recommendation right there. Number two. So isn't it all helpful? Can it actually just be simply psychologically helpful and not spiritual at all? Yes, it can be helpful. I know that I've been focusing kind of like on the downside, only because, you mostly see a bias towards all the good side of these. And so you might actually find it being psychologically helpful. It may help you out a lot. If it does, great. I hope you work through some of the things that it could fuck you up on, but that's your deal to do. My job here, mainly whenever I'm making videos, and specifically in a negative tone, I want to help out the people that I feel like I was in the same situation of. Think a little bit better so that they don't fall for some bullshit sometimes. What do I mean? There's tons of people out there, like I'd been hitting up before, where somebody wanted to pay me tons of money to draw them a sigil, and I'm like, whoa, like, no, and it makes me sad because that person probably went to someone else who's probably just ripping them off all the time. I have people who tell me, people with occult channels, send me all the time, messages about how someone's hitting me up because they want this crazy thing done, and it's this sort of thing that comes out of believing in magic and manifestation and these ideas, because they hit these hard marks. And they wonder why things not working, and they need help from somebody else. And this is why we shouldn't take these things that can be psychologically helpful in a very good way to us, and then run off with them and say like your belief can help you heal your grandfather of stage 4 brain cancer and all kinds of So if you were really good on keeping that in check, and I could tell by the comment, isn't it all NLP? Now, whenever I was looking through that, I wasn't very satisfied with the answers that I got. Because NLP is a very, very broken science, or psychology, you could say. Do your own research, and I feel like you'll find better answers than what I could give you right now. Because I'm still trying to figure it out myself. It's hard for me to go through. It was hard for me to go through this because there's not really anybody out there to kind of help answer these questions. There's usually a really far-leaning skeptical bias, or there's the far-leaning magical thinking bias. I haven't found many people kind of, I wouldn't say mixing the two. Fuck it, we're moving on from that. But I want to also give you a channel.
Having a scientific background in peak performance and the science of happiness, this is infuriating!
I haven't checked out all of his videos, but I have seen this one, and it should explain, like, he's talking about the law of attraction in it. And he's talking about how it works psychologically and how it can help us. And he talks about, the science of peak improvement and things like that. And so you might think, well, okay, this is great. This is a reason that we could use this. But in my opinion, if you get yourself in the place where you're in the habit, because see, what Magick did for me at least was it took me from a person who just was a lot lazier than I am now, and it had me believing that the thing was out there looking for me. I just had to go get it. So I was more open to like getting off my ass and doing things. And after questioning all this stuff, realizing that it's you doing the action, when they add in the action to this parameter, it's just you. In my opinion, I didn't really need the training wheels anymore, and so I kind of dropped superstition and magic altogether. You might not need to be there. You might be best where you are now. I don't want to take that away from you, but I do want to kind of answer your question in a way. But let me what is the video? Yeah, his channel's name is Blozzoms, and the video is Does the Law of Attraction Work? Exposing the BS of The Secret. And it's a pretty funny video. I like his taste. He hasn't posted in a year, so whenever you get there, make sure you comment and tell him to get on his shit again. Pretty cool dude. I need to watch the rest of his stuff, but for all of you who are out there who are, because that's what I started looking for whenever I started kind of debunking my own ideas in this, and I was like, well, isn't it helping me somehow? It's doing something good. And while yes, I can point all those out, I wasn't able in that position to point out the ways that it was fucking me up. It's not until now that I'm slowly starting to see the different areas it fucked me up in. And it's different for everyone. It's why I don't want to come here and just give my anecdotal, like, well, this is how it did me wrong and blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't even necessarily doing me wrong. It's just that, in my opinion, you can just scrap all of the belief. And if you just have a good enough belief in yourself and a will to take some damn action, and you're willing to learn and be open to yourself and your own ideas, you can get pretty far. But not everyone's going to agree with that, and that's fine. But Ivan told me so I just go with it. Now, the next comment that I got, which I'm actually really glad that I got. Somebody called me out on my shit, guys. It made me really happy when I read that. So, where is it? So I think I commented to him. Yeah, let me find it. Oh, he's changed it a little bit, I think. Oh, well, I'll still go over it. Okay, yeah, I said I'll address this in a video when I get the chances. I definitely have changed a few of my positions since the making of the video. Now, I didn't get to rewatch that whole video before I watched this. I mean, all in all, I'd rather move on rather than just argue about, like, he said, she said in that video and get straight down to what I think, what you think, and, my rebuttals. But, yeah. So, he said, greetings. I find this topic and debate interesting, but I'm not sure I follow your reasoning, or if I got it right, then I find it lacking. There seems to be two assumptions you work from that I think should be looked at more closely before drawing conclusions. And I'm glad that you're pointing these out, because, number one, I've changed my mindset about things that I said in that video and my position. And number one, remember when I said false hope? I was reading off Damon's comment, which I guess I fall in line with, but I noticed that's like really the sticking point. They're like, oh, it's false hope. I don't even have to go there. But going on with his comment, namely the following, that you consider the testimonial in question giving potentially vulnerable people false hope, as opposed to true or real hope. The possibility of failure cannot be the deciding factor, as that will always be a part of the equation in any scenario. Okay, I want to stick you on that last part right there. The possibility of failure, forget that. Let's get to the real shit. So the false hope, as opposed to true or real hope. I have no problem with instilling hope. If somebody is going through something, and they've got a family member in the hospital, no problem with hope. The problem is giving somebody the hope that this belief that we were just talking about with Vic's comment, this thing that can actually get you to do better and do more action, has any effect on cancer cells at a distance. And so, yes, that's false hope. It's like Peter Popoff's water bottles. And, I'd like you to show me the amount of magical successes that happen with magic. What did I just say? I want to see where people have had all these magical successes in the health field, because as far as I'm aware, Christians are praying for their family members, and when they're alive, oh great, Jesus saved them. When they died, oh, it wasn't meant to be. Same for Islam, same for all ideas, same for the homeopaths whenever they're using oils, when things go into remission, oh, it was the oil. Before answering the rest of this one, I want to skip down to the bottom because you kind of go over it a little bit at the end too. As magic will always manifest as a seeming coincidence or synchronicity. If it's going to look like that, if you're not going to be able to tell between a healing from magic and a healing from not magic, is it just like when it's miraculous, it was the magic? Or is it any time that somebody did magic and then somebody healed? Because as far as I'm aware, people do magic and don't do magic, and pray and don't pray, and heal or not heal, not even based on whether it happened or not. There's no correlation, and I've yet to find any, because trust me, I looked. That's why I'm in this position now. So if you could find that, please send it to me. I would love to look over it. But in the meantime, if it is going to be this thing, well, it always happens naturally or through synchronicity. How do you know that it was the magic? I could apply that to anything. I could say that because I asked Ivan for 100 more subscribers, when I get 100 more subscribers and I say, well, it's because I asked Ivan for it. No, it's because those people came. It's because I've been making videos. See, there's nothing magical about it. And whenever you're claiming that it can do this thing at a distance, giving somebody that type of hope, you know what? Sure, I'll agree with Damon's post. That is false fucking hope. Because until you actually have something of substance, what's the hope? Because when we're giving someone normal hope, like regular hope, like someone's dying, we know that sometimes, what you would call a miracle happens. Things go into remission and things change. See, because when we give someone normal hope, it's based on the fact that people heal sometimes and people get better. Not all the time. And depending on what it is, you have good chances or bad chances. And even when there are bad chances, we've seen things beat all the odds. And I'm fine with instilling that hope. But when your hope is based on you're going to have, you have a power, you have a responsibility in this situation, and you can make a change in it. And when that person dies, it's on that person. And that's terrible. So yeah, false hope all the fucking way. Don't have a problem with that. Let's move on. So, after that, you said, also, this group of viewers you call broken or vulnerable is a hypothetical construct. No two people watching are either the same or in similar situations who exactly are the same people you're worried about, people with serious problems in general. Okay, sure, I guess I could say the same thing about people that go to diet supplement stores. Not all of them are the same, but they're there mainly for the same reason, because this is who Frater caters. Frater caters to. This is the group that he caters to. It's his target audience. This is something that he had to learn when he was making his channel. He knows exactly the people he's looking for. He's trying to fix the broken, fix people's lives, get them out of the vulnerable state that he said that he was in. He's mentioned this on his channel, so it's not even really like my interpretation. It's more of me noticing exactly who he's catering to. And so I even think I mentioned in that video that no, not all of them are broken. I'm not trying to make it like, oh, this viewer base, but that's who he's catering to. And so it's not a good thing to cater to that group like that. That's a vulnerable position for somebody to be in, and that's why I was saying he has responsibility, and I don't think he's taking care of it too well. And now I have to add, because I am now starting to talk about the man, I am limited. I think there was something I can't answer in this. I'll have to come back because I'll have to watch the older video. But I'm limited on what I can say at the moment. I'm going to come back and I'm going to eventually make a video about the whole situation. I'm not sure when. To be honest, it could be a year from now. Everything will be explained then. Number 2, that Frater Xavier presents magic as something it's not, namely a cure for cancer. And yeah, that's what he's doing. That, though, is a total misrepresentation or a misunderstanding, as he never said anything of the sort. Well, and that's where I have to cut myself off. I will come back and answer that one. If there is one thing Frater Xavier is, it is consistent. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of things he's consistent about. I have followed him where he contradicts himself or opportunities. Fuck, I can't speak today. Where he contradicts himself, you know what I mean. Presents magic as something it isn't. It's a solid, congruent philosophy, so it should be easy to challenge specifically if there is something wrong with it. Third point, you're calling Frater Xavier very dishonest because he shared a testimonial of someone having successfully used magic to change their situation, labeling it confirmation bias, but following that thought would mean all magical results are just the case of confirmation bias. No? Yes. That's my point. Because he's taking confirmation bias and applying it to life or death situations. I don't agree with that. This is my new position. As I said, I am going to have to come back and give basically my whole new position. But my new position at a basic level is you should stick out of that area. It's why you're not supposed to write about law or give law advice if you're not a lawyer. And even lawyers that write about it, they still have disclaimers in their books. Because number one, you could be reading a book from 10 years ago that doesn't even apply to now. These very big professional fields, non-professionals should keep their mouths shut about. And that's my opinion. Because I'm not giving, and you might say, oh, well, you're giving your opinion on this. Well, no, because I'm not giving people medical advice.
So let me add to this. So while I'm also not giving medical advice, I'm not giving something out there to replace medical advice or to be used in conjunct with medical advice, because that's not my area of expertise, and if it's not yours, you should keep your mouth shut about it. I don't know how you could disagree with that. That's weird. And also, if you are going to be giving a solution to a problem that has to do with the health field, and it's something even magical, why would you go to the doctor? That doesn't make sense. If I had a magical fix for something, sorry man, I'm going to use that first. But here's the thing, it comes across naturalistically. You can't tell the difference between a normal healing and a magical healing. That should raise an eyebrow. Think logically.
Moving on. And as you said, this magic will always manifest as a seeming coincidence, synchronicity. I would say cherry-picking specific examples of success stories and writing them off as confirmation bias. I think it's all confirmation bias. At the end of the day, people are just doing what they're doing. I think Frater is just a very hard-working ass man. I don't think he can control the weather. I don't think he can heal gashes on sight like he does, or split the Red Sea because he's wearing oil. And he even mentions it being a confirmation bias when he talks about wearing his foot oil. He talks about, oh, it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, then I remember, oh yeah, I got my Van oil on. What about all the times you forgot? And write them off as confirmation bias is in itself an actual confirmation bias. No, it's not. I'm writing them both off as confirmation bias. Can you see that? Magic either works or it doesn't, as someone tried to point out. If it's all bullshit, then all optimism based on using magical means is false hope. So you're agreeing that it is false hope if it can't do what it does. And nobody has proved that it can do what it does. It's the same thing as Peter Popoff talking about if you drink his water, it will heal you. And, all the people that drank the water and were healed of something are like, wow, the water worked. But guess what? The people that died, you don't get to hear shit about that. This is just how it is. If it actually works and helps you load the dice of fortune in your favor even a little bit, then the hope is also real. So which one is it? Okay, so that last sentence. So sure, as we were talking about in the beginning of this video, the ways that it can help you. I even mentioned go watch that video by Blossom, or Blossoms, I forgot what it was. I'm fine with that. But applying it to this life or death situation, no. Because, I'm sorry, I am not convinced that it does load the dice at all in someone's favor. Because we've even tested intercessory prayer, and turns out, guess what? It works at the rate of chance, and sometimes it works worse when the person knows they're being prayed for. Which you could say, well, Frater just says, don't have people pray, it can mess you up. But when you're calling prayer magic and magic prayer, you've kind of debunked your own deal at that point. You've contradicted yourself into a whirlpool of sorts. But if it actually works and helps you load the dice of fortune in your favor, even a little bit, then the hope is also real. I agree with that. But that's the hope that is like, that's just regular old hope. That's not hope in a superpower that can heal cancer at a distance. We hope based on how situations have gone. Your level of hope, right? Like if I go in for a flu, I'm not like, hoping I'm going to die. But the hope's going to be different. If I go into the doctor and I have like some stage 4 type of anything, it goes a little bit different. I have no problem with hope. But the problem is if you're going to stretch it, if I'm going to say that I'm going to eventually sell Ivan for $1 million to the sucker who thinks that Ivan will be able to save them. People in vulnerable states who are dying and looking all over through third world countries and the like for some sort of cure because they don't want to just go to the damn doctor. I forgot where I was going on with this, but when I do that, I'll just be able to say, see, Ivan worked the moment that they were healed. Ivan saves. And, anybody else would call me a fraud. Be it when we apply this on a mass scale. If we make you the source of power, you're the conduit. Of course, we know that people heal. And then anytime that happens, we're going to just attribute it to it. We're going to attribute it to Ivan. And so, yes, it is just a big confirmation bias. I don't think you saw that one coming. But you are the only one that has called me out on my shit. And so I care about what you have to say about what I've said in this. And other than that, I think we're basically done with those 2 questions. We can move on to other shit. Your new intro stinks. Yeah, that's actually why I took it off. I never used it again. Yeah, there's nothing else I really have to go over. Basically, Vic, if you are still here, wherever you are at in your path, just stick through with it. You don't have to make any choices. I know what I put out there might sometimes be a little aggressive at times. But people who are going through this, I understand, especially if you've gotten to the point where you want to believe. And that's where it kind of gets a little depressing. You will find your own way, or you will find your own way out. Those are really the only 2 options. All that I advise you is to be careful of frauds and gurus that rip people off. Now, I'm not applying that to Freighter Xavier. I'm being, in general, serious because people, as I said, I know people who have occult channels, and they hit me up about people asking them to do the craziest things for money, and I'm glad that they don't. It makes me very happy. I'm fine with people having their occult channel, because believe it or not, nothing's better than fucking sex, rock, and roll in the occult. Add a little bit of drugs in the mix, you got a fucking good time. But, I just want people to be careful. I don't want it to be applied to situations where if you're the pivot in a situation and the scales lean not in your way, not even due to magic, because as I said, I don't think it applies to that. I think it's just they either did or they didn't. Things go wrong in operations. Sometimes things go really right and we call it a miracle. How do we go about attributing to it? How did you rule out that I wasn't doing magic with Ivan for people to get healed, for Freighter's, viewer base to get healed, and it wasn't even that dude's magic? What happens when you got 2 people doing the magic for something that both get in there like, well, no, I'm the one that did it, or people working towards a similar goal? There's a lot of but either way, I just want you guys to be careful. You're the guys I'm looking out for most. It's why I don't really care to make I'm an atheist now, but I don't want this channel to be an atheist channel. Because believe it or not, I was an atheist and an occultist. I was a believer in superstitious thinking. It wasn't until I applied the skepticism that I got rid of that. And it's not going to be important to you until it becomes important to you. I can't make things important to you. I can't make anybody care about things. Everybody's different. Who I listen to is gonna speak to my heart a different way than it will you. If any of you are dealing with I'm not sure if I want to do this spirituality thing anymore. I think that I might be able to do better just, kicking ass and taking names. I want you to go watch a video by Matt Dillahunty. I'll put a link to. I'm going to put a link to everything that I mentioned in this video. And it's called Spiritual But Not Religious. And I'm going to be honest. That video was the absolute nail in the coffin for me. And some of you might be like, what? Like, that you don't understand, like, it doesn't hit you this. And I don't mean, like, you don't understand what he's saying. Of course, anybody can understand what he's saying. But some of you might be like, what? I would have said this to that, and this to that, and this to that. And that's great. But this just comes to show that people really are on a different path, so to speak. I hate to use the metaphorical language. But, it's like, that last commenter that, called me out for my shit. And he was saying, not any 2 viewers are the same. Yes, it's true. But it's really hard, if you're going to make those assumptions, to have a YouTube channel, because you can't just speak individually like that. You have to try to have it apply and to say it in a way. That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part for me, is to get words out in a way that I feel like other people can understand. Not in like you're stupid, more in the sense that I'm stupid. Like I said in the beginning, my name's Hayden Michael, and I'm fucking retarded. I don't think I'm the best when it comes to words, but the things that I'm trying to say, I don't see anybody else saying, so I'm going to try my best to do that. But either way, I don't really think I have much to say other than that. I did mention merch. I'm gonna wait a second on that because, so I have a shirt that I've already made long ago, back when I was doing Wealth Prosperity series. I don't like it. I don't wear it because if I wash it probably another 10 times, it's the ink's gonna come off. It's not good printing, and so I want to find something that's quality. Because that's honestly, because when I buy it, I want to be able to actually fucking wear it. You've never seen me wear the shirt that I made for this channel, basically back at the beginning or whatever, because it's shit. I want something. I want to make something that whenever you buy it, you're actually going to wear it, and not be like, wow, this looks like shit. Plus, winter's coming up, so I'm thinking about, because I want to get something in a hoodie. I will be honest. One of the things coming out, there's a few things coming out, but one of them is going to be kind of like a Supreme brand looking hoodie or sweater, shirt, something like that, and it's going to just say X-Mage. For all of you that end up making it out of New Age thinking, spirituality thinking, and you want that ego badge, you can pre-buy it, and whenever you earn it, you can put it on. But we got a few others coming. Other than that, check out my boys down below. I'm going to be leaving some links to other channels because, us small YouTubers, we're literally rubbing nickels together out here, and so we gotta be looking out for each other. Other than that, believe in Ivan. Ivan will save you, and I won't even have to will for you to prosper and have a great day because you'll just have one because the great news of Ivan. Nothing else to say now.